Okay, I'm going to call to order the Fort Wayne Public Transportation Corporation Board of Directors meeting for Thursday, December 18, 2025. Present for the record, we have all board members with the exception of Melissa Fisher and Kyle Miller. First item is going to be the adoption of the agenda, which we are going to ask for the adoption of an amended agenda. The amendment is going to be number 9. B, new business, the adoption of an agency safety plan. So I will accept a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Pawn, a second by Nelson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. So the amended agenda is adopted. Next item is the reading, correcting, and approval of minutes from previous meetings. We have the executive session and regular meeting of the Board of Directors from November 20 minutes, and then the performance oversight and monitoring committee meeting minutes from December 15.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion by Nelson, a second by Charisse. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Show those as approved. Next item, board committee reports, executive governance committee meeting. Looks like we have the next meeting to be determined in March of 2026. We have not had a meeting since the last board meeting. So, did we?
No.
No. If I did, I forgot, but I didn't think so. We had it scheduled, but we canceled it for lack of items to discuss. External Stakeholder Relations Committee, Pawn.
So we did have a virtual meeting with our lobbying team to prep for 2026. We also talked through the 2 weeks of session. I guess we were 1 week in of session. They started the 2026 session in December. It was not a special session as some people are reporting, but it was the start of the 2026 legislative session. They're hoping to get out early this year, so we will see. Their big priority is to fix Senate Enrolled Act 1, whatever that means. We will see. I know one of the things that they will address right away is the reauthorization of the income tax based on what they're getting from the S&P rating, that it would hurt our bond rating, so they're looking at not having to reauthorize that every year. The other stuff's to be determined. And the next meeting is February 12th.
Thank you. Performance Oversight and Monitoring Committee, Nelson.
We met Monday of this week, 15th. Minutes are in the package. And our next meeting will be January 12th.
Planning and Development, Charisse.
Our December meeting was canceled due to lack of items for review, and our next meeting looks like is sometime in March.
Thank you. Transit Planning Committee, John.
The committee did meet on December 8th. Just 2 items to share. NERC reported that the city has made improvements on bus stop accessibility. Back in 2001, out of our 1,100 bus stops, 400 did not meet the minimum standards of ADA. But the city has been working very well with us since and has improved 100 of those stops by adding sidewalks and landing pads. This is really good progress. The city, really is considering transit as well as pedestrian when they're doing road projects. And so they are in close contact with us, and we work with them to make those improvements as we go. The second item is that Citilink we have issued our call for projects for the federal Section 5310 funding, which will come to the Planning and Development Committee in March. This is federal funding, nearly $400,000 is available. Federal requirements require us to publish a call for projects so that funds can be made available to nonprofits serving seniors and people with disabilities. So typically CTN and last year Easter Seals received some of these funds. So we should receive applications in February and then be able to discuss with the committee when we meet in March. And the next TPC meeting is February 9th.
Okay, thank you. Nominating committee, Nelson.
Working hard, and we plan to have a slate at our next meeting in January.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for undertaking that.
Elections will be held in, correct?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Okay, next item is the general manager CEO report. John.
There's a written report in the packet. I just do want to highlight, just as we wrap up the year, that 2025 has really been an exceptional year. And what I want to highlight for the record is really what's written here. But it's been one of the most impactful, but also one of the most challenging on record. Our leadership team and staff successfully raised fares. We implemented new fare technology. We implemented real-time technology, which is now available. The trip planner is available on the website. We completed collective bargaining, outsourcing of paratransit, and many, many other very complicated, significant changes. I'm really grateful to the leadership team for their diligence, their persistence, and their tenacity. They have been learning at a fast pace, and we're all doing work that we've never done before. And just congratulations to the team for getting through a really hard year with great success. And we're all looking forward to the year to come. And we'll talk about that more at the staff or the retreat coming up in January. The only other item I wanted to share is that we started operating Access and Access Plus services with Tidewater Transit on Monday this week. It's gone well overall. There have been a few minor problems. On day one, there were problems with the phone system. We have had some confusion between the two agencies on roles. The customers were being bounced between the two organizations, but that's all been settled out. So over the next few months, we'll continue to learn and identify and resolve any issues. We're going to be watching for anything that looks like a contract compliance problem or an oversight issue, because we want to assure the public that we take our responsibility seriously to deliver access, paratransit service. It's still our service. It's just that we're now no longer directly operating it. And so I'll be sure to keep the board informed if there are any major concerns or challenges that come up. Meanwhile, if you hear of any concerns, please share them with me or let folks know they can reach out to Pam or Tiara on staff. Okay. I'm going to be out of the office for the next 2 weeks for the holidays with some travel planned December 25th to 29th. Otherwise, I'll be in town and close by. And finally, I just want to wish the board, employees, riders, and the community Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We can be very proud of what we've done this year. And I think as we turn the page toward next year, we might go into the retreat thinking about core priorities like safety, efficiency, and the customer experience. We'll unpack that further. That's my report.
John, any questions for John based on that or anything else in the written materials? Next item on the agenda is the CFO Controller Report. Latasha.
Good evening, everyone. We have made it to the end of the year. So We have the November 2025 financials in the packet. Just to highlight a few things, we are still operating within the budget, and our net earnings are positive before our budgeted items, which unless something significant happens in these last 12 days of the year, I would imagine we'll end in the same way. So we're grateful for that, grateful for the management team focusing on cost containment this year. And I know there was also some project delays, but they did an excellent job making sure that we could come to you every month and say that we were within the budget. As far as our total expenses, they were 16.6 million, which were about 1.5 million less than the budget. Some of our cost savings that continued throughout the year, we did have savings when it came to wages, health insurance, fuel, vehicle repairs, our professional services. Some of the projects either were delayed or did not occur. For example, we had a cybersecurity assessment plan that did not occur. That was about $50,000. So just some of those projects that we planned didn't necessarily occur. Maintenance contracts and the delay of our band pool initiative were some of the reasons for those cost savings. We, compared to the last year, we did end up fairly consistent, just very slightly lower than the prior year, which is a very good indication of cost containment. And some of the same reasons that we ended up fairly consistent. We did have decreased vehicle repairs, the fuel, the professional services, as I noted, but they were offset by increased wages, fringes, and our pass-through purchase transportation and higher corporate insurance this year. On the revenue side, we ended up at 17.4 million, which was just slightly short of the prior year. We were higher than the prior year when it comes to operating revenue, and that was due to the Parkview contract, fare increases, and our ridership was just very, very slightly, paratransit was very slightly higher than the last year to date, although I believe they went down this month compared to last month, or last year month. Non-operating revenue is slightly short of the prior year due to lower federal assistance because of our overall expenses not being as high, the operating and the capital together. We did come out lower than the budget when it came to overall revenues. And for similar reasons, we didn't have as high capital expenses this year. So with that said, we did stay within the budget when it came to capital projects. As far as local contribution to capital projects, we only used about 30% of our budget so far. We are at $317,000 for the year, and that's just due to some project delays and not having a big bus purchase this year. We'll be doing those next year. The underground storage delay as far as that project goes. Our cash position as of November 30th, 2025 was 5.9 million, which is up from the prior month due to property tax receipts. You should have received a copy of the transmittals in your packet, and there's also an interim transmittals as well for the first part of December, and I will entertain any questions that you may have.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did we save with the van pool initiative being delayed? How much of that?
I believe that was budgeted maybe about $150,000 for the year, or $160,000.
What would you say was the biggest source of our, that savings? I know
There are a number of.
The biggest ones are usually the health insurance. We saved, the health insurance was almost 200,000. The fuel was about 200,000. The professional services and maintenance contracts was another 200, so that's 600,000 of the 1.5, and then the purchase transportation. Those are probably the largest. And then our salaries. Actually, our salaries is actually bigger than, we did really good on wages. The mechanics have been doing very well as far as containing, Jason and them as far as containing overtime compared to the budget. And we did have lower driver wages, which is probably because we have not been running at capacity with our drivers because of knowing about the change that was coming with the access services, so.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the record of transmittal for November and the interim record of transmittal for December.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Paul, a second by Raleigh to approve the November record transmittals on the December 1st and 19 interim transmittals. Any further discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval of the same, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay, it shows approved. Thank you. Thank you, Latasha. 7 resolutions, we don't have any this month. Next item is old business, and we have the authorized changes to fixed route service. Matt.
Good evening. I do want to, before I jump into the route changes, want to publicly acknowledge our access drivers that have gone to VIA. We had 14 that transitioned from us to VIA. The longest tenured one had been with us for 13 years. And so it has been a weird week without them. And I thought it was, while we have been relieved to my team not have to drive as much and be on the streets and away from our normal duties, we are missing our people. So I wanted to publicly thank them and acknowledge them for all they did for Citilink for so long and still continue to through VIA, but it's weird not having them in the building anymore. But I just wanted to publicly acknowledge them. I do.
Thank you, drivers.
Yeah, thank you. I do have some prepared remarks. I don't stutter through it like I did last month. Before we jump into the presentation that's in your packet. So every hour, Citilink covers 312.39 miles across Fort Wayne and New Haven. Earlier this year, I was challenged to cover as many of those miles as possible with fewer buses. After many hours across several weeks of working on the project, we presented to you and then the public a system that uses 2 less buses per hour while only losing 1.97 miles of our current coverage. We knew when creating these changes there would be some new inconveniences for our passengers. Unfortunately, when we change a transit system due to budget restrictions, the nature of the changes typically won't always be beneficial for the passengers. For those of us in management at Citilink, we've inherited a system that is already bare bones and the most basic type of public transit that a city of our size should offer its citizens. Coverage is not the best measure of success for public transit, but sadly, this is all we have here at Citilink. This made our job of cost savings all the more difficult, and unfortunately, there will be passengers that will have to change their daily routines because of our changes, our proposed changes, I should say. But for 99% of our passengers, they will still have a bus go down the street that they currently get on the bus app. To be clear and to be frank, this is far from what any of us want, but our hands are tied by the budget constraints. Everyone sitting in this room, whether on staff at Citilink or on the board, took their role here to help their community, not to try to hurt it. That is why all of us know this must be a short-term solution as we continue to fight for our community's right to have the best public transit they deserve. I've shown you all the route changes multiple times since July, so what I want to highlight tonight and what is in your budget, your packet, is what coverage we did lose. So if you want to go through it, most of it you've seen until like page 8, I believe. It's the one that says Burns Drive to Concord Lane. I should have labeled that different. We're looking at Fairfield Drive and the difference in coverage between Burns Drive and Concord Lane, and then the loss of coverage on Concord Lane. As a reminder, we made this change because the 5 uses a deviation bus that can fit on Concord Lane. A full-size 35-foot bus does not fit on Concord Lane, and Burns Drive is the closest option. When we look at the passenger counts at the 2 stops that are losing coverage on this, I looked at data from January 1st, 2025 to December 5th, 2025, and the daily average at Concord and Fairfield is just shy of 3 pickups or drop-offs per day. And then when looking at, did I lose some of my, good. And then looking at the data for the other yes, thank you. All these pages, and none of them are the right ones. Thank you. Looking at the other Fairfield pickup, which is at Fairwick, it is right around an average of 4 pickups or drop-offs per day. Oh, maybe that's my, no, it's not my problem. The 3 or 4 passengers from these stops will now have to walk to Fairfield and Burns, or which will be the closest, and this is just shy of a quarter mile from their existing stops. If they wanted to walk to Calhoun, from stop to stop, from current stop to new stop, it'd be a little bit of a longer walk, but for those that live in the actual neighborhood, it might not be as far. Next, we're looking at Pontiac Street between Calhoun and Warsaw. We looked at the data from the same time range. We average 1 pickup or drop off a day on our stop located at Pontiac at Lafayette on the eastbound direction. We have not picked up or dropped off anyone at Pontiac at Clinton or Pontiac or Lafayette westbound for the entire year at those stops. These passengers will have a short walk to Pontiac Street or Calhoun to catch one of the 8 Calhoun buses, which, as a reminder, that is one of the routes that has hour and half-hour service. Or they can walk to Pontiac and Warsaw to catch the 6 Southeast that we've restructured to go where Pontiac and Warsaw is close to where it's always been, the 6 Southeast. And then the other location where we've lost coverage is Hessen Castle Road at what we call the 3 Fountains stop. It's actually right in front of that gas station that's on the corner of McKinney and Hessen Castle. 3 Fountains is the name of the apartment complex that kind of covers that whole weird wedge thing there between Hessen Castle and Wayne Trace. The stop there, we averaged just right around one person a day at that stop, drop off or pick up. That person can catch the same bus at the Diplomat Plaza stop, which is by the post office on McKinney, which is right behind that gas station. And then we also have stops for 3 Fountains Apartments at Wayne Trace and Scarlatti, I believe is how you pronounce that, as well as Wayne Trace just north of McKinney. So there's still 3 stops servicing the folks that live in that area. And I'm sorry, I said final on the last one, but we have one more. There's lost coverage on Pettit Avenue between Lafayette and Fairfield Avenue. When you look at the data on this, we averaged 4 pickups or drop-offs at the Pettit at Montrose stop, and then 4 more pickup or drop-offs at the Pettit and Calumet stop on average daily. These passengers can catch the 8 Calhoun at the KFC stop on Calhoun at Pettit, and you can see our little blue bus stop logo on that picture just to the left of the KFC, right on Calhoun. There's a nice shelter there, and it is an easy walk for the folks to get there. If they're coming from a little farther north, in that neighborhood, you know, they're Maple Grove or farther north, then they can catch bus stops along Calhoun Street as well on the 8th. So that's I wanted to highlight the numbers there at the stops that we are losing. Everywhere else, there's still a bus that goes by a current stop. And what I believe this data shows is that our goal of not eliminating coverage for anyone was nearly successful. The data shows that those who are losing coverage are less than a quarter mile from their nearest route. Again, we know that looking at coverage is not the best measurement of success for public transit, but what we are presenting is better than the total loss of routes and coverage that many other agencies across our country and state are dealing with. While a few public comments were helpful, like the comment pointing out the need to go into Arbors of Southtown on the outbound and inbound on the updated Route 7, most comments were about the overall frustration with the lack of service citywide. Our neighbors deserve extended service hours, Sunday service, more frequent service, a transition away from our simple hub and spoke model, and new service to parts of the city that currently don't have it. These are sentiments that we in this room feel as well. We know what we have here isn't enough, but at this time, we have no other solution but to merge routes to eliminate costs. These changes will not feel good, and they are sadly necessary. These changes, along with our lack of needed service growth, bring attention to the fact that the fight must not only persist, but intensify at the city, state, and federal levels to get more help for public transit in Fort Wayne. I personally would like to thank Pam for helping me with the initiation of the proposal changes. I stormed her office many times in the early days, bouncing ideas off of her and getting her feedback. Thank you to Casey, Jill, Picola, Dr. Felicia, and John for their help with the public meetings. And I'd also like to thank all of you on the board for your assistance in this. Your feedback and support have been very beneficial during this difficult endeavor. I appreciate you all, and I am here to answer any questions or respond to any comments that you have at this time.
Well, I want to thank you. I know it's a lot of work on your part and a lot of creative thinking and a lot of analysis that would go over my head probably, and I think it has been done. Nobody wants to do, if it is approved, that's not something anyone wants to do, but I do appreciate the thoughtfulness going into it, just making sure that we really try to minimally impact people as much as possible with these changes. So I just want to say that on my behalf, that that's appreciated. Everybody who was instrumental and people who came to the sessions and people that have asked really good questions from the board at previous meetings. I think all those things made it an even more thoughtful process, and that's a good thing. At least we know if we do something of this nature that we have truly asked for input and looked at every angle. So thank you for that.
I also want to say, I know that a lot of work went into this. I know that public feedback was really important to this process. You said that there was some feedback that we got from people who attended those sessions that was helpful, that did save service in some areas that it actually would have been cut. So I also want to, in addition to saying thank you for everyone who worked really hard on this, thank you to the people who showed up to those community input sessions. Again, it just goes to show how, like, your voice really does matter. It's important for you to weigh in on things that, whether it affects you or just affects your neighbor or someone in the community. I do want to say that I kept hearing, and this is not me picking on them, I kept hearing pickups, four pickups, and I kept thinking, these are people, these are people, these are people. And even if it's 2 people who only ride the bus or 3 people, those are people's lives that will be impacted, whether it's just a slight impact or a great impact. I also want to say that a short walk is a relative term.
Sure.
Especially when you consider accessibility, and we all know and appreciate and consider that too. So this is tough. This is really, really tough. No one wants to do it. No one feels good about doing this. But the fact remains that we have to be really efficient, more efficient now. We have to do more with less, or maintain with less. It's just a hard thing, but thank you for everyone who has contributed to working on this proposal.
Other questions, comments, discussion? And you're looking for tonight, just for our authorization to implement the changes you have just given us the final summary of.
That's correct.
What's
Yeah.
the date that you want to implement?
Yeah, great question. So we are, at this point, looking at March 2nd being the date of implementation. If we get the approval, we feel that gives us enough runway to get notice to the public and get everything finalized. And yeah, so that would be our goal. And that with the public outreach starting in late January or February.
What's just a thumbnail sketch of what is the outreach? How are you going to notify people and so on?
Casey, do you mind helping with that answer?
What's the outreach? We have a meeting scheduled to determine, we haven't discussed all of the outreach things. We're going to decide in the new year what that looks like. And we have talked about having meetings with partners along the bus routes. And some things we've talked about are training staff to be on the buses the first week. I can't remember all the details, but we're working all together. And I think that's something maybe we haven't done in the past, or we have never done this in the past. So anyway, I think that meeting is scheduled right after the new year.
Yes.
Do you know if there's any plans to like put new signage? I know signage has been a sensitivity. So either like signs on the existing sign saying where the routes are going to be changed or a phone number, and then making sure that we have new signs up at the new stops.
We did talk a little bit about that, and I think we talked about trying to transition, what is that last week, February 28th?
We plan to have the new signs up the day that the new routes start. So they'll be working from Saturday evening to Monday morning to get those up. But that's a good idea to put signs up in advance that this bus stop will be moved effective this date. That's a really good idea. We need to do that. Yeah, but we're working on the signage anyway, because we have a sign issue, and starting beginning of January, We have a new person moved into operations that came out of customer service that's going to focus on looking at the bus stops that we currently have and making sure the bus stops are where they need to be and they're not in areas that can't stop and things like that. So that's on our project. Hopefully that will be wrapped up before these new routes start.
Yeah, her initial main focus with that project will be for the routes that are changing. So that'll be like, she has a 30, 60, 90-day plan for the different routes. And of course, all of the ones going through the change will be in that 30-day window.
Yeah, and hopefully moving shelters into areas that are high ridership, that we can get those in place prior to the.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Concerns?
To make a motion to authorize changes to the fixed route service as presented.
We have a motion by Fawn, a second by Nelson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of the requested changes to fixed route services presented, please signify so by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Sure that passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, I'd like to,
Oh.
I just wanted to abstain.
Abstain, okay. So we'll show 4 positive votes and 1 abstention. So we'll record it that way.
If I could just make a quick comment.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you to the board for engaging with us on this throughout the whole process. We haven't cut service since the early 2010s, and we know this is a hard decision. We feel it, right? But I am also so proud of this organization and Matt specifically, because we have a transit planner on staff now who has tools and knows how to use data to make these decisions. We've not had that before, right? And Sharice, I know that makes you super excited, right? And so Matt has done an amazing job, not only in the learning system and the tools, but then being so thoughtful in getting feedback from employees and the community and the board. And really, we want to give him a commendation tonight. And so Pam has this for you, Matt. So let's have Pam come forward.
And I just want to say, this was a complex and challenging effort, and Matt approached it with care, patience, and genuine commitment to our riders and the community. And whether he was working behind the scenes or engaging directly with the public, he was consistent in bringing warmth, humor, and compassion to every interaction. He helped guide us through a really difficult process, and I just want to tell him how grateful we are for his outstanding leadership and dedication throughout the process.
I look forward to earning one when I get to do something nice for the community.
Keep on doing what you're doing, you'll get there. Now, Matt has to run off to a Christmas pageant for his daughters.
My daughter's across the street at the church there, it's Christmas concert, so.
We'll be watching you run.
Yeah. It'll be a slow motion run. Han, thank you for all your help. I understand it's your last meeting with it, so I appreciate you. Thank you for back up there.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Enjoy your program.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Okay, next item under old business is procurement policy update. Natasha, back to you.
And I did present a updated procurement policy, I want to say it was September or October, not quite sure of the month. But I am coming back again with some additional changes. And the reason why I'm coming back is because in October, the federal government updated their thresholds for micro purchases and for simplified acquisition thresholds. And so to be in line with the federal guidelines, I thought it'd be wise just to update our policy and also to allow our staff to be more efficient with their time. Our thresholds probably haven't been updated in a while, and with inflation, it makes sense as well for us to go ahead and update them. So there was just a few changes to the policy, and I tried to highlight them and just the pages that were changed in the policy were in the packet. Only, I think, just a handful of pages. So in section 2.2, there was the micro purchase threshold went from 10,000 to 15,000. And we also changed the threshold to, there was a threshold of 100,000 where we could just send out quotes or get 3 quotes. We updated that to $150,000. So after that point, that's when we would do a RFP or invitation for bid. And then in section 3.212 and 3.211.3, that was also updated. As I said, we increased the threshold for requests for proposals. And then the advertising was at $25,000 threshold, which I don't think we were actually following that. So we increased that to $150,000 to be more in line with what we would actually do for the organization. And then in section 6, that was just the simplified acquisition threshold was changed from $250,000 to $350,000, which was the federal guidelines. So, yes.
Just one thing, you changed the number here, but not the words.
Oh, weird.
In the very first paragraph.
Okay, gotcha. We will definitely update that.
I just thought you wanted to.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
And this falls in line, you said, with the federal guidelines.
Yes, they changed the micro threshold. The 150,000, that was our own internal threshold, but we just increased that as well, just because probably doesn't make sense to keep it at $100,000. So the micro purchase and the simplified acquisition is federal guidelines now.
I know the state had changed some guidelines for public works projects, which has increased their threshold too this past year, so.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the updated procurement policy update.
Second, do you want to make that as amended?
Oh, yeah, as amended. Second.
We have a motion by Paul, a second by Sharice. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Make sure I get all the categories.
Right.
You keep me in order. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're moving on to new business. Authorizing a purchase of ticket vending machines from Token Transit. Bam.
So I'm looking for authorization from the board for a procurement order to purchase 2 ticket vending machines for Central Station to support the new fare collection system. Our previous ticket vending machine was obsolete once we updated our fare collection system, so that was removed. So passengers have to go to the window and purchase those from customer service, which it's a really tight window during lineups. So by purchasing 2 ticket vending machines, that will give them the ability to purchase tickets on their own. On the machines that we're looking at, they can purchase and reload their own smart cards with either cash or credit. They can also purchase mobile tickets paying cash with this machine rather than having to have a credit card. So it enables more people to be able to use the mobile ticketing if they don't have access to a credit card. And they can also purchase single ride and all-day paper tickets with QR codes from that machine as well. And so that'll overall expand their payment flexibility. So this is a sole source purchase because the ticket vending machine, there are no other ticket vending machines that work with token transit software. They went to vendors and found the most affordable vendor to get this for us. So they're just now implementing these. They're not in any other locations as of right now. So again, we're getting in on the ground floor. So we did get a little bit of a discount on these. So the total cost for the two machines is $174,317, and that includes hardware installation, spare parts, a warranty, and 3 years service fees. So we're looking to place that purchase order after January 1st, so it will go on next year's budget. And so I'm seeking authorization so I can place that order right after the first of the year.
How long's the warranty coverage?
The warranty is, it's a 3-year, so it's the 3-year contract.
Okay, so it's the entire time of the.
Right, yes.
Okay.
And we've had maintenance issues with the other machine, right?
We did, yes. So the credit card portion of that other machine became obsolete and it wasn't cost effective to replace it. So we started accepting credit cards at the window. So it was only accepting cash when we retired it. And part of the reason of having 2 vending machines at Central Station is if one goes down, there'll still be one working. And then we have the spare parts package that we're purchasing so that we can repair that quickly. And then we can replace those parts, so we always have parts on hand.
Well, hopefully this one will be better.
I hope so, yes.
So you're seeking approval then?
Yes, seeking approval for the purchase of the
Move to
2.
approve the purchase of the 2 ticket vending machines as proposed.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Sharice, a second by Fawn. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of approving the same, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay, everybody voted in the affirmative, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the added item from the original agenda, which is the adopting this agency safety plan, which I believe everyone should have a copy of.
Good evening. I'm looking for board approval on the reviewed and updated agency safety plan. Every year, the safety committee is tasked with reviewing and updating the plan per FTA regulations. There were no big changes to the plan this year other than on page 15, when it refers to the Citilink Joint Labor Management Safety Committee. It says that the committee will consist of 8 members of equal representation of management and the union. The union would consist of fixed route, access, and shop department. We just inserted dormant next to access drivers at this point, so that they're not part of the representation of the committee. Questions?
Questions for Nadine?
Move to approve. Second.
Motions by Sharice, a second by Raleigh. Any further discussion? Seeing none, take the vote. All those in favor, please signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Communications from the public? None. Okay. Open discussion. First, I want to thank Fawn for all her hard work, and we will miss your expertise on all the things that the rest of us, at least I don't understand, that you tell us about. So, which is maybe not a big, it's probably not too hard to pull over my eyes, but at least I appreciate all your insight on when this, especially with this changes in the law and so on. You've been abreast of a lot of that as much as you can be. Obviously, some of it is a work in process, but I appreciate that. Appreciate all your service in that regard. So I just want to say that on my behalf.
No, I've had a great time on this board, great opportunities. I'm sad that I am not going to be on this board, but I am still around. So if you have legislative questions, you have my number.
That's right. You're not going to be rid of us. And the new member is it Jesse Kramer? Is that right? Or,
Not sure how it's
I don't know how you
pronounced.
say the last name, but anyway, that individual will be joining us at the next meeting, I would assume, as long as he swears in timely. So, also one other item that I have, just as a reminder, I think John sent something out, I think it was just today, but this has been a long day, is the new location for the board retreat, which remains on Saturday, January 24th at 9 a.m. It will be at the community center, just right over here.
Although I have to say, we found out today.
Or do we change it again?
We're going to have to change it again.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're kind of like a ship without a home, it sounds like. So nobody wants us. We're like little orphan Annie.
In the past at Rothberg, is that possible?
It
Or
could-
not Rothberg?
It'll be Creek Development.
Yeah.
Well, so this year I would like to try to include the leadership team as well, so we do need to have a larger space, just so we can all be a little more comfortable.
How many is that gonna be?
About 20, roughly.
We would have our training room that would fit that because I mean, it's not as nice as the boardroom. But if you couldn't find somewhere else, our training room, certainly, we have all of our staff in there and we've got 30 to 40 people in there. So I mean, if
Any objections to that? No, it's too small.
It's too
Yeah.
small.
Well,
Yeah, you
we'll
just
do
won't play
that.
with the apples.
And we'll-
You're right.
I'll reach out.
You're exactly
We're just maybe talking with Rebecca. Or,
I'll send somebody right now.
thank you.
So we have a home.
We do. See, I told you we were going to get this.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
This.
And thank you, Raleigh, for, our discussions about Vincent Villages. With the new facility that's being built, let's reconvene next year and see about.
Take a rain check.
You're right.
Anything else, anybody?
I just thought I would extend a thanks to the staff and to John. It was a trying year and you guys came through wonderfully. So thank you so much for all of your hard work this year.
A monumental task. Good success.
I hope you guys all have a wonderful
Have
holiday.
a good
I also want to say again, thank you to the staff. You guys are rock stars. I mean, not even just this past year, but you've been grinding it out for like the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I know it's been really, really stressful, but you put in a ton of work. So thank you for that. Happy holidays. I also want to say that I have enjoyed serving with Pon. The experience and the expertise that you bring to this board has been so valuable, especially with all of the changes, from down at the State House. You kind of walking us through that and helping Citilink advocate in those spaces. I'm sure it's been an incredible help. You will be missed, but we are not letting you go. I'm not letting you go. Just to everyone, the staff and everyone in here, happy holidays. I hope you enjoy it and stay safe and try to enjoy these mornings.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone. We will adjourn.